I was kind of struggling with my tax return. I had to submit the tax return for that year. So I was sorting out the accounts. And I had to be accurate about it, so I repeated the process several times. And then the dream came to a point where I met the tax assessor. I came to his office. But the funny thing about this is that I became the tax assessor. There were other people who had to submit their tax for that year. And I was helping them in their tax computation. In helping the others, I noticed that I was not looking at the accounts. I was looking at some tangible objects that are on the table. All those tangible objects, but not the accounts itself. So as I woke up from this dream, I'm now wondering to myself, was I helping them? Was I helping those people with their tax assessment when I wasn't looking at the accounts, but rather something else? So how should I interpret this dream of mine? For one thing, I can see that we all came into this world with an obligation. We have a kind of liability to fulfill. And so we are doing something, we are struggling ourselves to fulfill the liability. But interestingly, as I approach the tax assessor, as I approach God, as I approach the source of my life, what happened is that I became God myself. And I have to help other people in the same way that I seek help from God. That's how interesting this dream is telling me. I have to be genuine, to be honest in helping other people. For that much of honesty is required. If I'm honest to get from God what I desire most in life. So where is the tax assessor? See, when I went into the tax assessor's room, I don't see the tax assessor. I became the tax assessor himself. And that is what exactly it's all about. We are the creators of our own world. While we seek help to create our things, in truth, we are also creating our things. So where exactly is the tax assessor? Is he in the room? He is in the room. He's the unseeable one. We are his representatives. The orange line which I draw represents the taxpayer, and the blue line which I draw represents the tax assessor. You can call him the tax collector. Whatever names you call them, together they form a circle with a one center. In other words, the seeker will never be fulfilled unless there is a helper coming in to help him. However, practically speaking, you'll find that the seeker will never want to help. Neither would a tax collector help the taxpayer. And that is why the story that a man could seek help from God is only a story which can be perfected only in an imagination. For the seeker who seeks help must himself become the helper of himself. Now imagine you have worked very hard to become the CEO of a company. And there's someone down there who wants to go up that ladder. Would you want to give up your seat and allow him to take over? Or would you want to help him to come up the hierarchy and take your seat? Of course you would not. Would you, the helper, help the seeker? You would only do that if you're a special person. If you can humble yourself right down to the bottom, then you'll be able to pick up a person from the bottom up. Otherwise, you will never want to do that. The tax collector will never help the taxpayer. The helper will never help the seeker. Why would a person who possesses great wealth give it away to the seeker who has no wealth? unless you have an understanding of what is inside you, unless you can see your own nakedness and bring the other person up to your level. Unless you realize yourself at the center, you cannot transact and fulfill yourself at the circumference. It's hard to understand what I'm trying to tell you, but join me in my video for more of my journey to the soul.